Alright guys, this is going to be the first repair video for the 8020Bs. This is going to be the donor meter for this button. I've already took the screws out, but we'll go ahead and disassemble the good meter and go ahead and replace the battery connector and that button, and then we may do some function testing, maybe not. Function testing gets to be a little boring. Disassembly on these are really easy. It's just 3 screws. And then we'll remove this. This one's still hanging on a little bit. Go ahead and roll it over. Screws on out. There you go. And then this screw here can come out. Kind of roll this shielding out the way a little bit. You can pull this board off if you want. It's not necessary. We may pull it off whenever we do the soldering, just to have it kind of out the way. And that's it. This meter is disassembled, and the button broke off. It didn't get removed. So let's see about placing that real quick, like a little less. This board actually looks a lot newer than this one. Yep. The button just slides off and slides back on. Look at that. We've already halfway completed the repairs on this meter. Alright, so the battery connector. This battery connector isn't bad, but it is really loose. So I figure I might as well go ahead and change it. Just these 2 terminals we'll have to unsolder. So let's go ahead and get the Heiko warming up. Okay guys, so we're about ready to start soldering on this thing. A few notes on soldering is today the solder I'm going to be using is a 0.032 inch 6040 rosin core solder. It's a lot thicker than a lot of people would normally use. They would normally go for like the 015, which is half the thickness. But for removing these battery connectors, the way that I'm going to do it is that I'm going to put a little solder on my chisel tip. I'm also going to apply some flux before I even start doing anything else, and just use that solder to help it get started. So I don't want a little bitty thin solder whenever it's not critical. And also, these holes are going to be fairly large, and so it's going to take a lot of solder to fill them up. And if I use that really small wire solder, I'm going to have to sit there with that heat on there for a long time, feeding and feeding and feeding, and I don't want to sit there and just let that heat just wick through this board. So it'll be a good quick hit with the chisel, put some solder in, get that hole filled, and be done. But right now, to desolder it, we're just going to desolder 1 terminal at a time. Use our flux pen. This is a really cheap flux pen. Seems to work well though. Kester 951, if you're interested. And always wear your safety glasses for solder, because it'll pop, splash, and believe me, you don't want to be the one-eyed man. So we've got our solder to get started. We're going to go ahead and start on our red lead. That didn't take much at all. And our black lead. As you can see, we have some solder still left in our holes. So let's go ahead and clean that out. Go. Now, to replace this battery terminal, here's the replacement. It's actually a really good match. The wires look a little bit lighter. Fluke crimps these connectors on and then solders them in. This is excellent. It's really good. I don't have these connectors. I don't think that it's worth the trouble of me trying to get them just to do these repairs on these meters. So we're not going to do that. What we will do is strip these wires back a good ways. I'm not going to trim these wires down to match this length yet. But once they're stripped down, we are going to use that extra wire. I think before we strip the ends of this one, we'll clip them just a little bit, because I think that it's stuck on those ends. Let me try to actually film it so that if it happens again, you can see it. Can't believe I did that. Okay. Right around here looks good. That was the issue. Okay. Now, I'm just gonna twist these wires together to make it a little bit easier to work with. Okay, back to the board with you. Now, let's make sure we're not going to reverse the polarity on this thing. There is a positive and a negative. Positive is on the outside. Now, what we'll do is actually twist those wires together to help hold everything in place where it needs to be. And we'll come back later and trim them. Alright. Hit some more flux. Flux seems like it's evaporating kind of quick. And then we'll apply some heat, apply some solder, apply some heat, apply some solder, a little bit more on this one. And that's it. trim that off. I think we'll go ahead and put a battery on it. That screen, can you guys see that? The screen is in awesome shape. So the rest of this video is just going to cover some function testing on it, on DC volts and on milliamp volts, and reassembly of the meter. After this, I quit filming and decided that I was going to check the meter on AC volts. And I really wish I would have kept filming, because whenever I put the leads into the 110 volt AC outlet, the meter died. It shouldn't have. It's supposed to be rated for 750 volts AC or 650, one of the two. But when I put it in, it just blanked. I mean, didn't break, didn't freeze. The meter just died. So look forward to the next video of troubleshooting on that. But I believe before that one, we'll have a video that's more or less just a discussion. I want to try to alternate between troubleshooting and actual repairs. So we'll kind of see how video length plays into it. I'm trying to stick to 10 to 15 minutes of video length, because I just think that beyond that, you start to kind of lose your audience. But next up, we'll probably, if we don't troubleshoot the 8020, we'll probably do some playing around with the Yokogawa, probably function testing on that. We won't really do a whole lot of function test videos, because it gets pretty monotonous after a while. I am going to try to begin releasing videos every Thursday. More than likely it'll be Thursday afternoon, so look forward to that. If you're subscribed to me and have notifications coming in whenever I release videos. As far as how my video pattern is going to work, we will have repair and non-repair videos kind of alternating. The non-repair videos will be troubleshooting. We'll talk about future projects. We may do reviews of meters and other lab equipment. We'll probably do a lab tour to show you all the equipment I use. Just kind of how I'm set up to do the meter repairs and other little electronics work. We'll probably do a production tour, just going through the video equipment that I use, the editing software, kind of how I set up for shots and things like that. That'll probably be a fairly short video, because everything I have is really basic now. I will slowly begin updating things, upgrading my equipment as this channel progresses. But don't look forward to that in the very near future. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see y'all next time, and thanks for watching.